Welcome to Battlefield Podcast, episode 145. I'm Ole, aka Chalk1, and with me, as always, Tim.
It's going. It's good to be back. Missed out on the last podcast, but ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, last one was a bit of a different kind of episode because we didn't really do anything, but it was an interesting discussion anyway.
Yeah,
it's doing pretty well. I think people.
Yeah, it was definitely very good.
I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room that's watching us live at the moment. And why don't we jump right in, and I'll just introduce our guests right now. You probably know them from the SHuSTYBANG YouTube channel. We have with us Chris and Sean. How's it going, guys?
It's good. Doing good.
So we're going to be talking all kinds of battlefieldy stuff. For those of our viewers that don't know, or viewers and listeners that don't know what you guys do, why don't you give us a bit of an overview of what SHuSTYBANG's about? And I also am curious as to where the name came from. I think I saw an explanation a couple months back on Twitter, but it'd be nice to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Chris, I'll let you tackle this.
All right. Well, we post Battlefield videos for the most part on our YouTube channel. I think we're probably best known for our weapon reviews. We hit 98% of the weapons, not including the snipers, over the last year. The name SHuSTYBANG came from back in Call of Duty 4. You could put in whatever you wanted for a clan tag, limited to 4 characters, and we always ran with bang. So that was just kind of, I don't know, it was just a random word at the time. And then, okay, I'm going to get into the deep history with it. So remember in Austin Powers 3 there was Goldmember, and
yeah.
he was from Holland, isn't that weird? And he would talk like that and stuff, and they oh my god, he would say whenever he was talking about like shooting somebody, he would say "shoost." He'd be like "shoost them," and at the time we used to play Halo 2, and we would run around on these giant maps, and we would say to each other, like, we could hear people fighting, but we didn't know where the action was on the map, so we would run around saying, "Where is all the shoosting?" So that style of talking just like evolved over the years, and then we were just brainstorming one night as to what to name the channel, and Snoop came up with SHuSTYBANG, and we just went with it. So it doesn't have any, it's not like nothing really deep, just that's the story behind it, I guess. It doesn't mean anything. It's not, I don't know.
How long have you guys been doing this channel?
We started March of 2010, so almost 3 years now.
Oh, and how did you guys meet each other?
We actually met when I originally did not live in the current state we're in. I used to live in Massachusetts, and I moved where we currently live in 3rd grade, and Chris was in the first class I ever had here, and we pretty much became good friends ever since. There was a little break in high school where our interests weren't quite aligned. Like, you know, we were still friendly and stuff, see each other, like, hey, what's up, but we didn't hang out. And then after I graduated college, I was always riding freestyle BMX, and Chris was like, no, I'm kind of lame, so I don't do cool things like that. So, you know, after college, like, a lot of my friends stopped riding, and then I was like, I got back into video games a lot, and Chris and I started hanging out a lot again from there, and I don't know, we've been friends for like 20 years now.
Wow, and the channel itself actually, the way it started was, like I said, we were playing Call of Duty 4, and Snoop actually wanted to start a blog because we used to play nothing but Search and Destroy. And anybody, like, you guys are familiar with Search and Destroy, right? Like how it works?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nothing's more frustrating in Search and Destroy than when you've died and you're stuck spectating your teammates who don't know what to do. And Snoop wanted to make like a blog or some sort of weekly series where they pointed these people out and how terrible they were and how frustrating it was.
What's it called? Useless fucks of the week. Chris flies you.
You know, for 1 second, I thought you were going to make a blog where you're giving advice to these people.
No. It was started with the worst intentions.
And Chris was like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and then the process like during the researching process of how to best like showcase this stuff, we realized there was a pretty big community forming on YouTube, and we realized YouTube channels and videos would probably be a better way to present what we're trying to present. And then after the process of starting the channel occurred, we kind of never went back to that original idea.
Which is probably a good thing, but at the same time is actually kind of depressing. Like you think about it now, if we were to start that series today, it would actually probably be pretty successful. I mean, if we had started it back then, it could have been hit or miss. It could have fell, flat on its face, and everyone would be like, "Wow, this is stupid," or it could have blown up, and I think it would have been really successful. I just don't think you could get away with doing something like that now because people don't play that bad like they did when Call of Duty 4 came out. I mean, when that first came out, they were clueless. They had no idea what they were doing. We're talking like almost a year into the game being out, and people are still like just walking around with like not even, they're just going up and standing by the bomb, and you could tell they're pushing a button like, why am I not arming it? And they don't see bomb on the screen like the other side of the map.
Plus,
and then how did you guys get into Battlefield?
Well, when we were playing Call of Duty, we started for Call of Duty, and we posted Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops all the way through those games' life cycles. And when Black Ops was at the end of its life cycle and it was going to be Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3 were coming out, we played a little bit of the Battlefield 3 beta. And one of the things that we've always sort of said was, like, we're going to play the games that we enjoy playing. Like, we don't want to get stuck playing a game because it's popular. And we both agreed that between Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3, we would play the game that we enjoy more. And that was hands down Battlefield 3. There's a laundry list of reasons, but it was just the better game at the time.
And so you guys, we talked a little bit before. You can play it on all platforms, but you play primarily on PS4,
yes, sir.
right? Why?
I've always been a Sony guy. Simple as that. I've never played on PC because parents could never afford it. I was one of 5 kids, so it's not like we had a huge family, but we didn't really have money kicking around, and building a relatively decent PC was just not in the cards. I mean, I had to scrape, and the only reason I ever got a PlayStation 3 was my buddy. How did he come about it? He bought one of like the original brick PlayStations, but it was just the PS1 to PS3. It wasn't PS2 compatible, so he just had ridiculous amounts of money from doing things he shouldn't have been doing. But at any rate, he had this. He was like, you know what? I'm going to go out and buy the really nice PlayStation 3 because I can, and you want this for $100? It's like, yeah. It was like a brand new PlayStation. It was maybe like 6 months old, and that's the only reason I got into it. So it came down to money. That's why I never got into PC gaming, and I didn't have any friends that played on PC. Like I said, I pretty much always played with Chris or our buddy Alex, and they've always been on console.
And to be perfectly honest, the realm of PC gaming never really became a huge player in our lives until our involvement in Battlefield. Like, it was just the norm back then to be on. Like, I got my PlayStation because Snoov ended up having a PlayStation. Like, I could have had an Xbox or a PS3, and I chose to get PlayStation because he was playing on PS3. And at that point, we just had PS3 all the way through all of the different Call of Duties, and then went all the way up until Battlefield. And then it wasn't until we got really into Battlefield and really into this YouTube thing that we expanded our horizons to Xbox and the PC. Which kind of sucks. Like, PC is such a hard thing to learn. Like, coming from console, especially on a game like Battlefield 3, we played for a year solid, and we're decent players on PS3. But our skill on PS3 does not translate to our hands for mouse and keyboard, and it is very difficult to make the transition.
Yeah, it's funny. You get that a lot with Battlefield 3. Seems to be one of those games that makes a lot of people want to buy a PC.
Well,
and I constantly hear of people that are either saving up or buying.
Well, you
parts.
couldn't go into a popular YouTube video for Battlefield 3 in the first 3 months of the game without seeing some shadow of the debate over like oh my god, you would not believe how many comments we've seen over the last year saying such stupid stuff like, I used to like your videos until I realized you were on console, unsub.
Yeah, we had just released a montage that was submitted to us, and I was going through some of the comments earlier, and to see people who were talking about like, oh, PC players have it easier, or you're not lead until you're playing on a console. It's like, it's the same damn game. It's just played on a different platform. Suck it up. I don't understand I don't understand why there's such a rift between the different consoles.
And I mean, there's obvious differences on console. Everyone would know it when Operation Firestorm comes up. You could lead the lobby, going 7-2 on a Conquest Operation Firestorm.
That's weird.
That's not uncommon, and that's just something like, it's very rare that console Firestorm gameplay will make it to YouTube unless you're doing chopper or jet footage.
Yeah,
and that's just one of the side effects of playing on console. But for the most part, when people are like, let's take our weapon reviews as an example, we're showing highlights of kills using the weapon in question, and we're discussing the statistics of the weapon that are identical across the board. So that video shouldn't make a difference whether the footage was captured on PC or PS3 or Xbox.
Right.
But not everybody is as understanding as you guys. People like to have their little fanboy ways.
Well,
Yeah.
you said it earlier. It is where your friends are playing.
Yeah.
Really, is what it's all about. So, and Battlefield's one of those games that's really social, I think. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Battlefield's very different from Call of Duty in that you can go in and play it alone, but it's really built to be played with friends, or because it's all built around the squads. So trying to play solo really just isn't the same. On Call of Duty, you can go lone wolf all day long. It doesn't matter because it's a random spawn and everything. But Battlefield, it really is built on teamwork. So I don't like playing it alone as much as I do with friends. And I got to be honest, if we never got into the whole YouTube thing and I haven't met like all these fantastic people, I don't see any reason why I would ever have even contemplated playing on PC, because all the people I do hang out with in real life play on console. And I never would have strayed from the PlayStation 3 because, again, there's just no reason to. But I'm glad that, through the channel, I've had the opportunity to meet all these people, and the money that we've made from the channel has allowed me to build a PC to play on and stuff. So, like, it's nice. I like it. Everything about it's awesome. And actually, playing on PC recently, I'm getting the itch to keep playing. That's what we were doing before we signed on here. We were trying, but Chivalry was all full, and Chris didn't want to play Battlefield. Lame ass.
I'm actually getting that's one of the things that actually bugs me about Battlefield on PC is that, like, we have a hard time finding like servers and stuff. Like, we're so late to the game that all I can find is 24/7 Metro or 24/7 TDM on Noshar, and then like I can find other servers, but they're like Reddit servers that are filled with really good people. And I'm like literally a level 7, and sometimes when it gets like really like heated, my hands will shift on the keyboard. Like, this is a classic noob mistake, and instead of being on WASD, I'll be on like ESDF. And I'll be like, what's happening? Like, my controls are broken. Like, I'm not ready to be like really good at the game right now. So I don't know. PC is there's a lot of things that don't translate from console gameplay or like being a console gamer over to PC. There's a lot of stuff to learn other than just learning how to play the game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you mentioned a lot of the teamwork. Tim, you mentioned just before the show that there's a couple more. Is there 2 more dog tags?
Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, we're on 5 now. And this one's gonna be called Party Pooper. With this one, it's a skeleton. I'm looking at it right now on the other monitor. It's a skeleton that looks like to be holding a shotgun, and it's called Party Pooper. And this one is you have to reach 10 billion in team score. So the challenge is reach 10 billion in team score starting January 25th and ending January 29th. So it started yesterday and it'll end on, what's the 29th? Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
We have 4 days to do that?
Yeah. So all Battlefield 3 players and all platforms, we're all working together. So it's not like trying to compete who gets to it first. And the eligible team actions are the revives, savior kills, heals, ammo resupplies, spot assists, squad attack orders, squad defend orders, repairs. So it's trying to get people to not lone wolf, and not be a blueberry, and squad up and try to help people, which is nice. I mean,
I'm kind of glad that they put out a challenge where everybody works together. Because correct me if I'm wrong, haven't the past few challenges for dog tags, haven't the dog tags been awarded to everyone after the challenge is over?
Yes. Yeah, you don't have to do anything; you still get it.
No, I mean, like when they set it up to which platform is going to get to like X amount of kills first. Like that's something they've done in the past.
That was the first
PS3 one, right?
Yeah, that was the first one they did. PS3 won, and then PC came in second, and Xbox came in third.
But then everybody got the dog tags, right? Like it would have been cool if just PS3 had gotten the dog tags.
Yeah, once PS3 unlocked it, everybody got it.
Yeah. So what are you even fighting for?
Ah.
At least work to, like at least now it's a challenge where they say we're working together to a common goal.
Yeah.
Right.
And
What do you guys think of all these assignments? Anyways, we had a bit of a discussion on some other stuff, and some of the assignments that either unlock dog tags or camos, or you guys go after those things?
I've gone after some, but recently, like after Armored Kill, I haven't really gone for very many. Like even like unlocks for vehicles and stuff. Armored Kill like really like put a damper on a lot of stuff for me. And I got hung up on some of the Armored Kill challenges. I think for the L96, you need to get, what was it? You got to get like a really long headshot, right? Like 350 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I spent 2 games in a row, I think on Bandar Desert TDM, way in the side of the map up in the mountains with a 12x scope. Like it would have been like an 800-yard shot or something like that if I hit it. But by the end of the match, I went 0-0 twice in a row. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? This is pointless. I'm not doing this. So now I just go for whatever ones I happen to get, but I don't set out and work towards them.
I think the one that's really pissing me off the most is the Rambo tag.
What do you have to do to get that?
You have to. Well, getting up to it's the 5 multi kills that really pisses me off. The 20 kills in one round's fine. The 10 kills without dying is fine. But the 5 multi kills is a pain in the ass. The only way you can do it is if you kill a full transport helo, or lay C4 down on a flag.
Oh, multi kill. So that's 4, right?
That's 4 or 5.
At least 4.
It's 4 people, I think, within 1.7 seconds or something like
from
that.
Beginning to end, or 1.7 seconds between each other.
No, from beginning to end.
No, from beginning to end, like within 1.7 seconds, you have to.
Yeah, so that's like an Amtrak or
anything full or
full bus.
That's why I think there's been so much damn C4 on every flag.
Yeah, I have to check flags every time I go to one. I have to throw a frag grenade at it. It's so annoying.
People are camping.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, no,
TDM with C4. That's really annoying.
How do you even do that? Like, what do you camp?
You just sit in a corner.
The
street? And hope to God they don't find you. It's like a nose hair canals.
Oh yeah.
In the boxes, you know, you got a support guy laying down with C4.
Oh yeah, I guess I did run into that recently.
Mm-hmm.
I like to give credit to those people. Like I've seen people freak out calling people campers, but then if you go and look at like a theater mode in Black Ops is great because what you think is someone camping was actually like 2 seconds before you got there. They just took like 2 shots to the chest, barely survived, and are reloading. So they're backing themselves into a corner, and they just happen to be crouched and holding their gun, and then that's when you come around at the perfect time and they just turn and shoot you. It looks like they're camping, but you don't know if they are. But C4 kind of gives it.
Did they Did they finally fix the theater mode in Black Ops?
I used it the other
broken.
night. I used it the other night, but I've heard it's inconsistent. I had a good game, and I was really crossing my fingers for it to work, and it did, even though there was a host migration. So it's fixed-ish, kind of.
What was your, as far as Battlefield 3, you said that Armored Kill kind of put a damper on things. I have a feeling it did that for a lot of us. How did you guys like Aftermath and or any of the other DLCs for that matter? Like, is there a favorite, or did Aftermath pull you back in?
I think it's a toss-up. I love Aftermath, and it definitely pulled me back in. And I could still go in there and I could play those 4 maps over and over again, and I would love it. I'd be totally fine with that. But I actually think I like Back to Karkin a little bit better, only because the maps, at least you got the weapons to go with it. So it wasn't just the 4 maps, you had the 10 weapons that you could also work towards getting, and just going through and stuff. So it was the 1-2 punch for making it that much more enjoyable. But Aftermath is really, really good. It's so damn close. It's like a 51-49 split for me, but I will give the favor towards Back to Karkin. Again, just because you have the weapons to go with. I think the Aftermath maps are better, but the Back to Karkin maps are still pretty damn good. I'm
wholeheartedly going with Back to Karkin, and that's just because like Back to Karkin was like the 2-punch out of the 1-2 punch combo. Like they came out with such a good expansion right in the peak when people were starting to hate Modern Warfare 3. All of a sudden, here comes Battlefield 3 adding 10 weapons, 4 new maps, and they're like amazing maps with incredible destruction and everything. And right in like the game, like everybody's so stoked on the game. It was just perfect timing. I know, like it was so good that in my mind that it's just like all wrapped up into the game itself. I often forget about Back to Karkin being an expansion pack. I just sort of think of those maps as part of like the whole package of the game.
Now, did you guys play Battlefield 2 at all? Did you actually play the original Karkin?
No.
Or any of those original maps? No? Okay.
No, the only pre-Battlefield 3 experience we had was Bad Company 2.
I actually did play. I played 1943. Is it 1943?
Yeah,
with Wake Island.
Remake of '92.
Yeah, I played Old Wake Island.
I think I have to agree with you with Karkin, but for me, it's more of a nostalgic thing. It brings back a lot of good memories that I've had with Ola and Hikwan and a bunch of our other people that we played with, and just the memories that we've had, the many years ago when we played BF2. It was just a lot of fun.
Battlefield 2 has been a game that comes up whenever people talk about like perfect games or something like that. Like, isn't Battlefield 2 like? Oh,
No.
I see you shaking your head. No.
I was gonna say, every time people say that, I'm just like, were you around like 6 years ago? Because there was just as much bitching and whining about that game as there is now.
All right, so it's like COD 4. It's
become
like
that.
Well, it was
COD
funny
thing.
because when Battlefield 2 was kind of coming down and we had what was the 2142 coming out, people had bitched so much about 2142 they wanted to go back to BF2. But like Ola said, there was so much complaining about how they're breaking the game. It's just like we see now at BF3. I think the what put it in really good perspectives was the last Battlefield Friends video with the old grandpa. How they broke the game over and over. And we heard that all the time in BF2. It's like nothing has really changed with the community in that aspect.
No, but I don't know if you remember, Tim, but do you remember the infamous patch? I think it was 1.3 for Battlefield 2. It literally
it was like
the
2
game
gigs.
up
It completely changed
for
the whole
months.
game.
like
It was
like
a
when you say
disaster.
fuck the game up, meaning like it still ran or they changed much stuff.
Yeah, they changed so much of the gameplay that it was like playing a whole new game.
Like what they did in the February patch for us.
Worse than that. After that, this is when they first started beta testing patches. After that,
right.
Every patch after that was beta tested publicly, so people could play it because there was such an uproar about that particular patch. And it's sort of the first time I think where DICE realized that when they make changes to 15 different things at the same time, there's these knock-on effects that they talk about now that they had no idea were going to happen. And it was probably the worst example of what could have gone wrong.
I've said that before. I'm convinced what they do with the patching process is they get their meeting of the minds together all in one room, and they got a whiteboard. And they say, what needs to be patched? And Johnny goes, the USAS is too powerful. Like, frag rounds are too powerful. And they go, okay, and they write nerf frag rounds on the whiteboard. And then they repeat the process with, like, 29 different things, not realizing thing number 18 directly affects thing number 3, and thing number 6 directly affects thing number 28. And it's like, and then they're like, here you go, 3 months have gone by, have a new game, because the game is completely different now. Like, I know it's expensive for them to patch consoles. I heard it's like $40,000 for them to release a title update on console, and so they're not going to come out with weekly patches. But I don't know. I'm really bitter with the way Battlefield 3 has been patched. I don't want to be the old guy in the latest Battlefield Friends video, but I feel like all they've done since the game has come out is beaten down the game into, like, Plainville. Like, everything is so meh. Like, they just nerf everything into, like, crappiness, like mediocrity.
Right. Yeah, you get enough people complaining about one thing or another, and suddenly, you know, they remove the flares from the gunner seat in the helicopter, which, again, by itself, fine. But then at the same time, they remove below radar for...
And then they buff the Stinger for the damn AC-130. They don't realize the effect that has, that you can lock a chopper on armored shield. Is that the map? You can, like, lock a Little Bird from 400 meters out now.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Below radar just doesn't work. You can be on the ground and you're still getting to them.
Yeah.
Well, they've literally turned it off, Tim. I didn't realize that until just recently, but there is no below the radar for anything but...
Right, yeah, they said they never wanted below radar to affect Stingers or Iglas, which... That really bugs me. Like, I'm kind of passionate about the whole... Anything to do with taking choppers down, because that was, like, my favorite thing to do, was to fly choppers. And me and Snoop would try our hardest, and, like, I would consider us a good chopper duo, but we would... Like, I would get taken down relatively quickly by either a jet ram or a goddamn light post, because I'm flying so aggressively. Like, you don't need to give them a 400-meter lock with a Stinger and a 2-second reload on the Stinger.
Yeah, like that's how Ole and I are.
Like, I will mess it up. I will bring the chopper down on my own.
Which you did quite often.
Yes. Like, oh, yeah. I don't even... That feeling.
Dude,
it's...
Every time we blew up, like, let me guess, no light post, and just silence for like 3 seconds. Yep. It's like, oh, great.
Like, no, I swear I dodged that. It doesn't make any sense. Because the physics on these choppers, you're like, you're like, I'm going good. I'm coming a little close to this building. Shit, I'm going down. Like, I guess someone opened the window and, like, threw a bucket of water out, and it, like, hit the rotor, and we're like, Mayday! So it was hard enough on its own, and they're like, listen, you know, we feel like people are in the choppers a little too long. Let's lose the gunner flares.
Right. It was the whole 1-2 punch, and Chris, it's like, going back to what you just said, the combination of things, and then not paying attention to what they're doing. They just go through this huge, they compile a huge list of things they want to change, and they don't realize that, you know, number 5 is going to directly affect number 11, and number 23 is just completely dicks everything when combined. Like, they didn't see the splashdown effect. They didn't see the trickle down effect. Yeah,
they're like, the AC-130 is coming in, so we need infantry to be able to take it out. So Igla Stingers get a 400-meter lock. Meanwhile, in the same patch, they took away gunner flares. Yeah. So now choppers that traditionally fly way lower than that are constantly within range. And unless you had a map like Armored Shield or Bandar Desert with nice open skies, you're going to get locked on. Like, the only, like, Alborz Mountain Conquest was the only one that gave a little bit of cover because of all the trees. But then those trees were more deadly than stingers.
Those trees. It's like every tree had an arm that could come up and swat you if you got a little too close.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm fine. Nope.
The ants.
Swats you out of the air.
Tree? I'm no tree. I'm the bane of your existence. Get dropped.
How do you guys feel about the ECM and the circling singers that just wait and wait and boom?
Yeah. That was the only way I was able to survive post-patch, was the fact that they circle you. Is so you beat one stinger with the ECM, and then you got 5 seconds to get the F out of dodge before someone else can lock you. But they're guaranteed to lock you again. So what you got to do at that point is like fly low to the ground, and hopefully the pathing of the rocket will like have to like hit something in the way.
Yeah.
And then if you can hit ECM again, yeah, it'll like whip around you and then hopefully hit the ground. But
yeah, I think the frustrating part of it is, like you said, they haven't been able to patch very frequently. So when things do go wrong, like the ECM, I'm sure that's not a feature, that's just a bug or something. But you're stuck with it probably for 2 months or so, or until the next DLC comes out or whatever. And then by that time, you get so used to it that when they patch it, you don't even care. You've stopped flying. You've stopped using ECM, whatever. And
to give you guys an idea of how unthrilled I am about the patches, I would go back to Karkand with USAS frags. I would take frag rounds the way they used to be over the game in its current state right now. Give me back my chopper and let me fly it the way I want to fly it, and people can have frag rounds back, because frag rounds were beatable because they were bad kid weapons, you know, like kids figured it out and yeah, they wanted to mess you up. But if you ran into I've said this before, but we ran into a try-hard team of USAS frag users on Metro Conquest, and we were like, man, there were like 6 of them on the team using it, and it's like, all right, guys, time to put your big boy pants on. So we pulled out like the M16, we pulled out the legit try-hard weapons, and we beat them. So like, and it was a good game, to be perfectly honest. And that was like, that solidified my thought of that version of the game. If you look at the way the game plays now, it's a completely different version, and I prefer version 1 to version 2, even with the USAS crap.
Do you think that when Endgame comes out and the patch that's going to come along with that, do you think we're going to see a version 3?
I don't even want to think. I don't know what they could do. Like they won't go back and add things. Like they've already had their get out of jail free like do-over card with that whole blue hue thing. Like, remember they made the announcement saying, listen, we're going to let you turn it off. And then they're like, just kidding. We like the game the way we like it. Not going to let you have it. So they won't, I don't think they're going to undo anything that they've already done for the sake of pride, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Like, if they could come up with some crazy way to make it so Armored Kill is different from other maps, like Stingers act differently on Armored Kill, then I think there's a chance that things could be good. But I don't know. I think they're going to mess things up again. I think they're going to nerf it, everything down to where it's, I'm using the MXXX gun, and it has X amount of bullets in it, and it'll kill you, and I don't know, it's boring. It's like a game of checkers now, when it used to be chess.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess regarding the chopper, it'd be nice that with Endgame coming out, I think if they could kind of bring it back to what it used to be, give the gunner the flares back. Just increase the flare timing, because they can't dumb down, or they can't nerf the Igla Rage because they still have the AC-130 in the Armored Kill maps. So
right.
I really don't think that the attack chopper is a viable option anymore. It just gets shot out of the sky too easily. So pre-patch, when before Armored Kill came out, a really, really good team, really good tandem, they could stay in the chopper for a long time. I'm not going to say that you couldn't, because you could. And I mean, Chris and I think we're above average players, but not great by any means. And when we were in the chopper, we could do pretty good work here and there. It wasn't consistent by any means. And
no, because you still had to work together. You had to be on comms. You still had to get the timing right of who was going to flare first and all that stuff. I mean, Tim and I, we've done that a lot. And it's by no means just a random event that takes place. It still takes a lot of effort
I agree.
to do that.
So the problem, it wasn't so much
hang on real
that,
quick, and the game mechanics would work against you sometimes. Like, flares just didn't work before. Sometimes.
Oh, God, yeah.
You'd still take damage. Anyway, continue.
So I think the real problem back when both the pilot and gunner had flares was that not many people were using the igloo to take them out. So then we go to armored kill. We've removed flares and we've increased the range, the effective range of the igloo, and everyone starts using the igloo. It's not because they're like, oh, well, we've got a better shot at taking them down because they've got less flares. For me, it was like, holy shit, I can lock onto them from like across the friggin' world. So why wouldn't I use it? That was kind of the frustrating thing before, was you try and lock onto them, they blow, you lock on, shoot, they blow flares, lock on again, they shoot, they blow flares, and then they just take off and they fly at a range where you couldn't lock on them anymore. And then they come back through with both flares again. And that's why I can understand the frustration, no one wanted to use them. So I think, I guess to kind of rebalance that out right now, because it's just ridiculously easy to take down a chopper, give the gunner his flares back, just increase the timer on it. Add like another 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds tops. But I think 15 seconds would be like a happy medium to the the reload timer on the flares. And given that, coupled with the increased effective range for the igloo, I think that's a fair compromise.
I feel like the way they patched it too, or the way they let us know they were patching it, I think the wording was, we feel like skilled chopper pilots can last a little too long in the sky with the current with ECM flare combo. But that really doesn't seem like hard data is backing up that claim. That sounds like someone who's complaining that choppers are OP. Like I'm a big fan of nerfs and buffs happening based off of gathered game data saying like, oh, anytime anyone gets in a chopper, they're beast mode. And choppers only die twice in a match. But I don't think that was the case. It feels like they did it off a feeling. Like they were like, I don't know, chopper pilots seem to be able to get too good, so let's take them out.
Well, did you see the tweet from Alan Kurtz before they nerfed the chopper?
I might have seen it. But
he had talked about how he went through like days and days worth of data, looking at like how the chopper behaved in servers and whatnot, and they swore that that's what it was. But I agree with you. I think it definitely was a bunch of criers in forums and people tweeting.
You can't stay like. It goes 100 different ways, but in my experience, it was a skilled pilot-co-pilot combo could do well, and they could be an asset to their team.
Yes.
Combine that with if you had the exact opposite. If me and Snoov were in a chopper, we would be beaten 9 times out of 10 by Fake and Snoov on the defending team on the ground with stingers. If an organized group of people wanted to take that chopper out of the sky, they would either take it out of the sky or they would render it useless. They could maybe the chopper could come in for a strafe run, but then they would have to get the heck out of there because all it takes is 2 or 3 people to take it down, and it's out of the game for a minute and a half.
Right.
It seems easy to me. Like, I'm sorry people don't want to take the time to equip a stinger, but it's not like Call of Duty where you don't have a stinger class. You can get one in a matter of seconds. Just do it. I don't know. I'm like passionate about the chopper thing. I think they should change it back. I wish they would change it back.
I will.
Do you think that?
Oh, I was going to say, just kind of regarding the chopper topic. I know that they also nerfed the repair speed of the repair tool.
Yeah.
But still, even when we're in a scout chopper, it's ridiculous how long just myself can keep Chris alive when he's flying. So I think they still missed on that because, dude, if you put 2 people inside one of those scout choppers...
Oh, it's a hell of a team.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Chris is flying and then myself and freaking anyone with a repair tool is in that thing, we're unstoppable. We'll go the entire game.
Yeah.
Until I hit a light post.
I put a snippet together of me going 74 and 10 in a Little Bird on Monolith because I had an engineer. I had like 2 engineers with me, and they kept me alive the whole time. I got hit by stingers and minigun fire and everything else, but as long as you have someone repairing you the whole time, you can stay up the entire match, no problem.
But you know what? An easy way to fix that is you just up the damage percent at which the chopper becomes disabled. If you move it so under 50%, it's now disabled, and you have like
a faster bleed rate.
Well, not necessarily the bleed rate, but you lose control of the chopper. Like
Oh,
you know
right.
how you can barely keep it going until your guy gets a repair. Like then that would or even make it so once it hits 25 or 30%, whatever it is now, where it's technically disabled, make it like a tank, and you have to repair it up to 100% before you gain full control over it again.
I would love to see them like when you get them to like 10%, they just flip over. Like something explodes and they fall over.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Well, it's almost like it's replaced, like the Little Birds, especially on Aftermath, have replaced attack choppers on sort of the original maps in that sense, that they can be really, I don't know, I don't like this whole overpowered term. I actually kind of want to talk about that because there's always so much talk about this is overpowered, that's overpowered. I think Scanner Barkley made the joke the other day that flanking is now overpowered after someone left a comment on a video where it's a complaint that, oh, you're always shooting them in the back. It's like, well...
That's the best way to do it.
Right.
Right. Like, the whole thought of something being overpowered, I mean, sometimes maybe legitimately it is, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on what the weapons are like now? Is there anything that's actually overpowered? Anything that legitimately needs to be buffed
I got
or
this.
nerfed?
There are no fucking overpowered guns in this game. Simple as that. There is overused. There is overabused, I guess you could say. There is no overpowered guns in this game. You cannot pick out a single gun in this game that can dominate every other gun and every kind of player in every situation at all ranges. That is the definition of overpowered. I am so sick of seeing the same comments on our videos day in and day out. Oh, he's using the M5K, it's overpowered. Oh, M16A3, it's overpowered. No, it's not. M5K is overpowered. Tell you what, I'll back up, I'll pull out AN94, and I'll wreck you from medium to long range. That one gun right there makes it impossible to be overpowered. It's simple as that, and I don't understand how people can't understand this.
I think it's just like you said, they see it so much and they're killed by it, then it's overpowered.
Exactly. USAS with frag rounds and the dart, those were overpowered. It
was a coding error. It was wrong. It was like shooting a take round at people. With
exactly. And it didn't matter how far away you were wrecking people. I mean, you were just unstoppable.
I used to snipe people on Damavan Peak. I'd sit all the way to the back, and people who would camp on top of the tunnel entrance, you could sit with a thermal before they changed the thermal IR camera or scope. You could sit back and you could snipe people because it had no deviation in drop or anything else. It was just a straight shot.
Yeah.
Every time.
But I mean, that's legitimate because it was literally
it was broken.
Right?
It wasn't overpowered.
I think people do overuse it, but what bothers me is that I think DICE listens to that, and they hear like, oh, this gun's overpowered, and then they start tweaking those. And I wish they'd just leave them alone. We've been in this game for over, like 15 months or something. Let's just leave it. If it's not broken, let's stop messing with it unless there's something literally wrong with it, like in the code, and it's not supposed to do that.
Right.
But they have to appeal to everyone. They want to make everyone happy.
Well, good luck with that.
It's weird because I feel like DICE, in too many instances, has listened to the voice and not reason. And we're all very, very, aware of what the we'll call it quote unquote general public or the voice is talking about for what they want to see in the game versus reason. They can go and look at the data and they can see, okay, M16A3, everyone's complaining about it, but looking at the game data, no, we've got 5 guns that can kill it in close range, we've got, a half dozen guns that can beat it in the long range. That's clearly not overpowered. It's one of the best guns in the game, but that doesn't mean it's overpowered.
and on top of that, it's not just the looking at the weapon statistics. It's looking at game data statistics, because they can gather these things where it says, okay, the M16A3 has been used for X amount of hours over the past month. In those hours, the average kill-death ratio of the user is 1.5 or 2.5. Now, if every other gun has an average KD of 1, then that's overpowered, regardless of how well, regardless of what people think the weapon is capable of. That game data right there shows that, on average, when that weapon is being used, you perform better than every other weapon across the board. And that's how I feel like OP is should be dealt with. And I got that from David Vonderhaar, the lead multiplayer designer of Black Ops and known troll on the internet, but that's how he's tweeted it. That's how they do it in Call of Duty. And if anyone has a problem with that, then I need to hear it, because that seems like a perfectly reasonable way to do it. Like, just because you got killed by a gun doesn't mean it was overpowered, you know?
Right. And a lot of times people will say that a certain gun's overpowered, and I've seen correlations between that gun being overpowered and certain assignments involving that gun, so everyone's using it, so yeah, you always get killed by it. And me personally, I get used to guns as well. Like, if you start playing with the same gun for long enough, you start learning how it works and learning how best to handle it. And I'm sure you guys know that, having done all those weapon reviews, that there's good ways to use guns and there's bad ways to use them. I mean, with all
no. So, the best way to use this gun is the way I say, according to the comments.
Right.
The best way to use a gun is anything other than what we have ever said in any video we've done. Just FYI, guys.
Hey, you know what's a really good setup is if you put a foregrip and a suppressor on the AN-94. That's really good. You should totally use it. Nobody will ever give you crap for that.
John.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like those guys will say that it's overpowered, except there's no statistical evidence at all, which is why I think what you're saying, Chris, makes sense. Is that it's like a feeling that you get.
It's
right?
not.
And
it's not impossible for a community to discover an overpowered weapon. It's happened countless times, and it'll continue to happen. But they're not always right. Yeah. And it's true that some guns can be easier to use before they're overpowered. It's like splitting hairs, but it makes sense if you think about it. Some guns are just simply easier to use in some certain situations, but that doesn't make them overpowered.
Oh, Snoop, I want to go back to what you said about the voice. Do you think, now you guys have a really popular YouTube channel, but do you think that some of the large YouTubers and larger people in the community, do you think they have anything to do with the so-called voice and the changes that happen in the game because they just have so much pull?
I don't know. I don't think so. I know, like, you know, some of the bigger Battlefield 3 guys, Chaboy, although he doesn't really do your traditional commentaries. I guess Level Cap would be the best example you could possibly use. I don't know really how much he would affect it. I really actually think it mainly has to do with the gameplay. It's not like Call of Duty. You know, like T. Martin, he said something, I think it was about the SMGs, or it was a certain class setup about Black Ops 2 shortly after it came out, and everyone jumped on it. But I mean, he's got like 500,000 followers, and I'm sure that he's got even more people watching other than just, you know, his diehard subscribers that follow him. I think in that instance, yeah, but I don't think the Battlefield community is quite at that point yet. Plus, for the most part, the Battlefield community on YouTube doesn't really go for that, you know, check this out, new Black Ops 2 Hacksaws video, best gun in game this week, blah blah.
Best perk, best class setup ever.
Yeah, exactly. Where they're trying to hype. Oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever used, and then 2 weeks later, oh my god, this is even better. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet.
It's tough to say though, because the best example I think we have is probably actually one of the worst examples. If you go back to Modern Warfare 2 with the one-man army danger close noob tube combo, that was made infamous by the Wings of Redemption video. He exposed it. I remember me and Snoop saw it. Snoop emailed me the link to the video the day it came out, or vice versa, and we were talking about it, dude, saying, dude, I can't wait to go home and try this. And obviously that overtook the entire game, and the reason it's a bad example is because they never patched it. They never did anything with it.
Right.
I think YouTubers can affect games in the sense that they can influence the popularity of, I wouldn't put it past developers to leave weapons that perform exceptionally well. Remember the example I just gave where the M16A3 might have a common KD of 2.5 while every other gun has an average of 1.0. But let's say there was another random gun I don't know, let's say the RPK somehow had an average KD of 3, but nobody really uses the RPK. I don't think developers would make it their priority to nerf the RPK. They might even just leave it like that because nobody's complaining about it. But the second that it gets exposed as being really good for this reason, and now that 3.0 KD average stays true, they might patch it the next time. And I think the way a YouTuber would affect that is whether or not they publicize it. But I don't think they can call up, hey, yo, Dice, change the game, aye? Click.
So we can say that inadvertently YouTubers might have an influence.
Yeah. I don't know. If YouTube wasn't even a thing, if it wasn't a gaming a gaming media platform, then where would we even know to look for statistics? I'm trying to think of Halo 2, everyone knew the noob combo sucked, but nobody had a place to bitch about it, so it didn't get changed or anything.
I guess the reason why I asked that question was because I feel like sometimes that DICE almost has a hard-on for YouTube. Sometimes I feel like they are, or maybe not DICE as a whole, but some of their community managers and some of their other people just are constantly going through YouTube videos and uplifting some of the bigger YouTubers because of what they do. So
it's possible, but I think the only reason they even see those videos is because they're already popular to begin with. I don't think a popular YouTuber has unique opinions for the most part. I think any number of people could come to the same conclusion as a popular YouTuber, but a popular YouTuber just happens to make a video about it.
Right.
So, with Endgame coming, when is it coming out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. So, we're going to get that dirt bike, which I wonder how excited you are about that, Snoop.
It's going to be awesome.
And I know that the big thing with Aftermath was everybody's like, oh, we need more weapons. We didn't get any weapons. The question I have is, do we really need more weapons? And what kind of weapons do we need? Do we need another copy of a gun that's going to be not as good as the M16?
I want a mounted RPG on the dirt bike.
Yes. Use it like you could in Halo. You jump and then fucking launch it right at the right second. I can get launched.
Or
I tried that on
if we're gonna go with the Halo thing, then I want to be able to jump on front and punch the guy off the dirt bike and take it.
Yeah, mount him, and then have it be stolen, triple kill,
Kill-tacular.
as far as the weapons go, since they missed the last 2 DLCs with weapon packs, they need to if they were to include 10 new weapons, they would need to come out swinging with something like something awesome, basically. Whether it would be like, I'm not talking about like crossbows. That was a waste. Like, I know it was like kind of cool for a little while, but that ranks lower in my book than sniper rifles as far as effectiveness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, they would need to come out with like a wow factor for these guns, or else it would just feel like they're like, yeah, okay, I guess here's 10 more skins for guns, kind of a thing. Like, if they came out with like an alien weapons pack or like future weapons,
Laser beam.
that'd be cool, and that'd get people talking, and it would be it'd be end game, and it would just like if they were smart, know what they would do? They would come out with future weapons, and that would get people talking like crazy about what time period Battlefield 4 is going to be set in. And
I can shoot that down right now.
Or if like 2143 comes out, they might.
yeah, hey,
That would be
okay,
easier to it.
shoot it down, sir.
They already came out. Official word is that Battlefield 4 is still going to be set in a modern time.
Yeah,
They said that months ago. So
yeah, modern, the 2000s.
yeah, we don't have fucking futuristic weapons like what you're trying to talk.
They do. All prototype, baby. All prototype.
We can't take that out of the battlefield.
It's ready.
It may not function.
It's fully operational.
I can see
Like
it
a
now.
Death Star.
Yeah.
You want that gun that every once in a while blows up and kills you.
Fuel rod
Risk and
cannons and
take.
stuff. Like,
Chris, we'll let you
Railguns and-
fucking lead the charge. Be like, come on, guys, follow me. I got the first go on this. It's fucking jammed. You get
future weapons don't jam. Future weapons shoot sound. They don't even shoot bullets. They shoot sound.
They shoot the brown note.
I'm telling you, like,
Fucking awesome would that be?
it would never happen. It's so unrealistic, Snoof. It's not even real.
Everyone stops in their where they're standing and kind of like huddles down because they just pooped their pants.
Just a whole squad just fucking fall over. I don't know how the points would work for that, but still it'd be pretty fun.
There's gotta be a dog tag to unlock for that.
So, what happens if you get the whole squad, like one whole squad down? Is that...
So modern times,
Uh,
that's like very vague, all right? Like relatively speaking, modern times, you know? Like, relative to what, okay?
relative, it's the same as today. Basically, it's going to stay in the same time frame as what Battlefield 3 is. It's current modern day.
All right, well,
Not like current 20 years from
Well-
today.
they had weapons like, didn't they have like the XM8 or whatever in Bad Company 2? Like, they could come out with a Bad Company 2 weapons pack. If they labeled it like that, if they... Like, they can't just come out and say, blah, here's 10 weapons. If they said,
Right.
here, like, boom, bitch, here's 10 weapons, like or 5 of your favorite weapons from Battlefield Past that you've been missing, then that
Dude,
would
we
get
should-
people excited.
They should give us like a Russian's street weapon, like weapon pack. Fucking your Gadget 3 is a bear.
Brass
You just
knuckles
call out
A bear. Gadget
Russian
4
street
is-
weapon. Come on.
Gadget
I
4
think
is
another one would be
Peter
like a badger on the end of a hockey stick.
That's the Canadian weapon pack.
Yeah, okay, stop.
Guns of the world.
Every beaver on the end of a fucking hockey stick just fucking.
Chuck jars of maple syrup.
That would work. That would work. I would do that over nouns. I'll get out the hockey stick with
What
a
does it
beaver
do? Is he
in
like
hand.
lunge onto the guy's head?
I know, you like take it. It's like a humane trap. You take off your back and then run up and like open the door and be like, "Be free!" And it's like, and it like runs.
That'd be fucking awesome.
These bitches are using beavers. Bunch of beaver noobs.
It's sweet though. You find some bushwookie hiding, deploy your beaver to cut down a tree beside him.
Beaver's OP, man.
Oh,
Beaver's
God.
OP.
That beaver took that tree down in like 2 seconds. That's bullshit.
He's hacking.
Well, the chat room's laughing, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I agree
listen,
with you, Greg.
Did I get my point across?
Yeah, they'd have to come out with some super sexy beaver weapons, and to make it something special. I am kind of disappointed because they did originally promise 10 new weapons for Aftermath and Endgame. So we don't get them. Whatever, it's not the end of the world. It'd be cool if they come out with like 5 new weapons even for Endgame. But you're right, it's got to be something that's like, holy shit! I haven't played the game in 3 months, but that is a gun that will get me back to play this game. It has to be something that good. But you get a total mind of it not being overpowered as well.
That would be amazing. And this is just like shooting for the stars, like dream big kind of a thing. Is if they took, listen to this. Get ready to have your minds blown. They take 5 weapons from the 5 most popular EA properties, like Gears of War, Mass Effect, pick the other ones, and they release a weapons pack with that. People would go ape shit. I'm telling you, like, that would be awesome. Or even like if it was just Gears of War and Mass Effect.
Oh my God, we were with the chainsaw. This is so cool.
Yeah. Imagine that. You got the chainsaw.
Pitches in half.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome.
I mean, that guy trying to take out a tank, like fucking running down the side of it. Not doing anything, but like,
yeah,
I'm gonna make it happen.
and you retain the ability to cut down trees, just like the beaver.
Yes! And I can take out the bush. This is kind of a win-win. I'm liking where we're going with this.
I mean, it's not going to happen, but they need to start looking at Battlefield as one of their major, like, I mean, obviously it's one of EA's big titles. Like, it's up there with Gears of War and Mass Effect and stuff. So let's get some cross-promotion in this bitch.
Yeah, more than just a Dead Space helmet somewhere on a shelf. Or whatever.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, we found another, pair of shoes. Great. Yeah, I don't know.
Are they gonna? We're not getting a machete either, are we?
No,
I don't
that was with
think.
Aftermath.
Were we supposed to get a machete?
Right.
They had
well,
teased
there was
it once, twice.
Those motherfuckers. They're always toying with our emotions.
It was like when we saw there might be 2 more booster packs after Endgame, and then
who would have spread such a rumor?
There isn't.
Please.
Do you guys have any hopes for Endgame?
No, I feel pretty bad about saying this, but Aftermath like sparked a little bit, like more smoke than heat for me. Like it was kind of there, but the game's been out for so long, and it. Man.
Dude, stop beating around the bush and just tell us exactly how you feel. It's
I want to play other games.
Stuff.
I don't want to play. I'm tired of it. Like I don't care about new maps. It's the same bullshit dealing with like some of the Battlefield 3 stuff. Like I don't know how many times I gotta worry about not being able to kill somebody because he's vaulting over a pole. Like I'm shooting him, he's right there, and then oh wait, no, he's 6 feet over there because he finished vaulting. Like it's like it's stuff that's just worn on me like water on rock over like the past year. That is fine when a game is new, but I'm tired of it now. So I get frustrated so easily with things. Like even things that aren't bad. Like how often do you get killed by a 320 like grenade launcher? But when I do, I'm like, this is why I don't play this game anymore. Happens once every 6 times I play.
What would it take to
So what do they have to do for Battlefield 4 then to
all right
to get it back in and not just have it be
Battlefield 4 will be a new game with new maps, new weapons, hopefully a refined feel. It'll be a new game. Like I jumped right onto Halo 4 from Halo Reach and I was loving it. I was shaking and moving. But it's Halo. It's the same exact thing, you know? But they've added some new stuff. So Battlefield 4 will do fine by itself as long as as long as there's, some refinement there, they mix up the weapons, maybe the menu is a little bit more refined, stuff like that. You don't have to worry about getting me on the hook for paying for Battlefield 4. I'm already there.
Yeah, are you gonna get the new toy effect or like the new car smell, and then once it's gone, you're like, meh, I'm done.
It's possible. It's possible, but at that point, it's like I don't know. If
it sounds like it has nothing to. It sounds like it has nothing to do with Battlefield. It has to do with the genre. It seems like you're getting burned out on FPSs.
No, I'm really digging Black Ops right now.
I don't have a problem with that. I can't.
But is that because it's new?
No, I'm not worried about I'm not worried about you playing Black Ops. I'm just saying, like, I need variety in my life. It feels like we're breaking up. By the way,
it's not you, it's me. Baby, no, it's me.
No, it's not the game. Okay, it's just me. I need something new in my life.
I need some space. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be back for Battlefield 4. Like, I mean, I've been playing Call of Duty since 2007, and it's been hit or miss. I've been playing Halo since 2002, 2001 or something like that. That's fun. I think Battlefield 4 will stand on its own and do just fine so long as Battlefield 4 is theirs to lose. We were just talking about this the other night. I was playing Black Ops with Nick Gigante. He's the writer for Examiner.com, and he was remarking on how Battlefield 3's success came from Modern Warfare 3's failure, which I think we can all agree. I don't know if you guys paid attention to Modern Warfare 3, but it kind of crapped out. Did you notice that Battlefield 3's popularity grew with time? It wasn't breaking sales records, but it continued to grow in popularity as the game went on. And that was because people were sick of Call of Duty. We are matching Battlefield 4 up against the new Infinity Ward Call of Duty, which is running on the same engine that Call of Duty's been running on this whole time. And everybody knows that Infinity Ward and Treyarch don't communicate about what they're innovating in their games. Right. So all the progression that Treyarch has made with Black Ops 2, using score streaks instead of kill streaks, the way Ghost operates where you've got to continue moving and all the different perks and stuff like that, that doesn't get communicated to Infinity Ward until the game comes out. And now Infinity Ward is already a year deep into development. So Modern Warfare 4 is going to come out. It's going to be a smashing disappointment. And then Battlefield 4 is going to rise in popularity and blow the top off. So Battlefield 4 is the big dog this fall. It's their game to lose, in my opinion. As long as they don't do too many stupid things, it's going to be fantastic.
Well, it is being run by EA, so we could...
Right. If they start coming out with DLC, microtransactions and stuff, that's a way to turn people off. That's a way to be stupid.
You mean you wouldn't pay $10 for a new weapon add-on?
I don't know. Well,
that you could keep for a month?
Well, not for a month. It's and that's a good point. It makes me nervous with all these deals they keep pulling out with hey, here's premium, here's the shortcut kit, do this, do that, pay a little extra money here and there. If they incorporate that stuff from the get-go, I feel like that'll be a mistake. But at this point in its life cycle, it's fine. So, Battlefield 4 is going to be good. They don't have to do anything to get me in. They just need to keep me by not screwing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just not pull a Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Medal of... that's what I'm saying. Battlefield 3 put its wing out and said, here's my friend, Medal of Honor. I need you guys to buy him. And we're like, you got it, Battlefield 3. And we all did. And we're like, dude, this guy smells funny. And then we returned him. We got rid of him. So we're going to give him one more chance, Battlefield 4, because it's Battlefield.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be getting it for PS3, or like, what are your thoughts on whether it's going to be coming out on the new consoles or how that's going to work? Like, it's sort of the big thing, you know, now that we're starting to slowly hear things about the PS4 and the Xbox, whatever the hell. And obviously Battlefield 4 has been in development for a long time, so I've had discussions with people where they're like, oh, it's going to be coming out for that, it's going to be so-and-so better, and we're going to have 64 players on those systems. What are your thoughts on that?
I hate this situation, and me and Stu have been talking about it a lot recently because we don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows right now. We got to wait for more information, but we're talking PC, we're talking Steambox, we're talking Xbox 720 and PS4. All Wii U, which who really cares about Nintendo right now? But still in the mix is 360 and PS3. Like, what are they developing this game for? Like what is the smart decision? You know, what is it going to be best on? I don't want to make the wrong decision, and it's creating a lot of buyer's doubt with what system to get, what one's going to be worth it, how it's going to play on each one, and what the best deal is. I know it's probably just the fact that there's not enough information out yet and nobody's told us anything, but if you think about it, it's a very daunting task. Let's say the game comes out for PS3, Xbox 360. It comes out on Steam, so that's... Oh, sorry. I guess it's not going to be on a Steam box, is it? Because it's an Origin title.
Yeah, probably not. At least I wouldn't imagine. Not in the beginning,
okay.
Anyway.
So, sorry. Let's take the Steam box out of it. And then we have the PC version, which is probably the safest bet overall because it's standard. Yeah. Like, it's just going to be a PC version. But you got the 720 and the PS4 there, too. And what are the differences going to be between PS3 and PS4? Because I'm a console player for the most part, but if I'm going to catch the shaft on overall game quality like BF3, then I'd prefer to get it on PC.
Well, from what the specs look like, I think the PS4 is going to rival a little bit better than a mid-level PC right now.
Yeah,
PS4 and you can get really good.
PS4 graphics card rumors are supposed to match 680s and 7970s.
So graphically, I think it'll look really good. It's just a matter of how many players can it handle. Because if it's still a max of 24 players, that would be a real kick against, you know, a real negative against consoles. Because I don't know how I really want to word this. I know I'm thinking.
Well, you're missing out. It's a
you want to get
cheaper
the
version.
actual Battlefield experience.
Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't have to be 64 player, but to have that option is fantastic. Like right now, when I go play on PC, I don't want to play on 64 player servers because I'm not that good yet. I can't hold my own against that. Like I'm not that good that I can take on someone in front of me and then, you know, I have to spin around and get the guy on my 3 o'clock, and then holy shit, there's a guy on my freaking 7 o'clock.
However, if there was a 64 player server on PS3, you'd be just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be a monster.
Used to that, but
right.
But even if they doubled it up to, like, say, 48 players, you know, that 48's on PC, 64, depending on the map, 64 can get a little bit much, but 48 seems to be, especially on close quarters or TDM or something like that, it's sort of a nice number. They got to do something like that, you'd think. And I think the challenge is that with so many people obviously still owning PS3s and Xboxes, and I don't know how many people are going to run out right off the bat and buy these things because, yeah, they're cheaper than a gaming PC, but they're still several $100s, I would imagine. You know, and there's probably going to be a bit of time where some of your friends are still playing on the PS3 or the Xbox, and some of your friends will have moved on to the new system, so you get that fragmentation of
luckily, EA is in charge of the Madden franchise, which always has this problem whenever a new generation takes over. Like you can, like, couldn't you get like Madden 13 or Madden 12 on PS2 if you wanted? Like it still comes out for like Nintendo DS. So
I don't know if it does anymore.
Well, not anymore. I mean, I know they stopped production of the PS2 just recently, actually.
Right, but no, you're right. There was a couple of years of lap over, whatever the fuck I'm trying
Overlap.
to say. Overlap. Thank you. My God,
Yeah.
really tired. I'm sorry. There's 2 years of overlap where they were developing it for current gen and previous gen. So I don't see why they wouldn't continue to do that with the PS4 and PS3.
It's just a matter of, I'm trying to think of a game that works in the opposite way. Like, I'm trying to think of a game that was developed for like PS2 and then upscaled to PS3 as opposed to being developed on PS3 and then downscaled to like PS2 at the time, because that's the big difference. If they're developing on this current generation, then getting it PS4 in the first place might not even be worth it, because if you're just talking about a slight graphics increase, then like okay, hooray. But if we're talking about a major gameplay difference in the PS3 version because it was developed for next gen, then that pushes you in one direction too. So
Yeah. I guess we'll find out sometime later this year.
yeah, eventually.
Do you guys want to just tell everybody where they can find you, and as we wrap it up here, and because I know Sean's phone.
Yeah, my son has not been feeling too good the past couple nights. I think he's teething. So last night didn't get any sleep, and then I jacked up my neck. I think I got maybe 3 hours of sleep last night.
He's on his period.
You
can find us at youtube.com/SHuSTYBANG, SHuSTYBANG, and we post
Facebook?
pretty much daily. Facebook.com/SHuSTYBANG. I won't spell it again. And our Twitter handles are on the screen right now. Twitter.com/FakeThriller and /Snoop603.
You're going to want to follow me, though, and not FakeThriller, because he doesn't really talk much. He's boring as shit. But I, on the other hand, am a very engaging individual. I would talk to anyone all day. Yeah, see, you have nothing to say to that, sir.
Okay.
And on that note, Tim, why don't you tell people where they
You
can
can
find
us at youtube.com/Battlefield Podcast. I'm not spelling that out because it's a mouthful. You can find us at twitter.com/BF Podcast. You can find Ola at twitter.com/Chalk_1. And I'm /Darkness429. And all the other links are in descriptions and whatnot.
Yeah, and we do a lot of this Twitch live streaming thing, which is also fun. And of course, you can find the podcast on iTunes. We've got a lot of new YouTube subs.
Yeah, I think
Those people may not know that all these podcasts, like the ones that aren't just YouTube videos, but the actual podcasts like this one, are in iTunes in audio form. So if you got a long commute or whatever and you don't want to watch an hour and 20-minute video on YouTube, which I understand, you should check out the podcast on iTunes. I want to thank you guys very much for taking the time today and talking with us, and everyone in the chat. I think they've all enjoyed it, so it's been great, and want to wish you all the best and keep up the great work.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
man. We appreciate it.
we'll definitely have to do this again.